with the Rangagita and scenes of Saragati Kannada being acted here, we had a very fitting start today. I now invite our Chief Guest for the day, Dr. G. N. Devi, renowned literary critic and activist, Ms. Arundhati Nag, well-known theatre and film artist, Akshana K.V., playwright, director, prominent figure of Kannada theatre, Jayan Kodkani, senior editor with the Times of India, K.V. Tagore, Chief Trustee of Suchita Film Society, to the days. I request Deepa and Suchita to respond.
Today's event is co-hosted by Suchitra Cinema and Cultural Academy, Bangalore, and Manipal University Press, Manipal. This book release event is a very special event for Manipal University Press for two reasons. One, that the author of the book in Kannada is Akshara, who is also the advisor and well-wisher of MUP. And second is because it is the first book in MUP series in Indian literature in translation. Manipal University Press, MUP, was started with an idea to reach people across different sections across the society. It was started with a vision to be in league of global university publishers in terms of quality of content, print and package. It was started with a mission to publish books, textbooks, monographs, journals, reference works, translation works in print and digital form and expand to other pedagogical services. 5 years ago, on 22nd of November 2011, MUP took its first step into the world of publishing with its first book, Praman Paddhati, Path of Proofs, authored by Srinivas Varkheli. And it was a translation work from Sanskrit to English, and over a period of 5 years, MUP has grown from a team of just 2 members, headed by our chief mentor, Dr. Vinod Bhatt, who is the Vice Chancellor of Manipal University, and Dr. Nitai Namdar as the editor then, who was heading the Department of European Studies. And from the 2 team members, it has now grown to a huge team with its own editorial division, its own designers team, a marketing wing, its own marketing wing. Now, MUP has recently taken under its wings to nurture a distribution house, an entrepreneurial venture by 4 women, and having grown leaps and bounds, MUP is starting to work on different series. MUP today is proudly presenting its 78th publication and the first in its Indian Literature and Translation series publication. And on similar lines, in 2017, we are taking up a project to start a children's series, that is MUP series on children's works. And we do invite, we invite book proposals for this. Coming to the translation works, Brechtian plays are not only available in English, they are also available in Kannada. There are so many other writers, writers of international repute from Europe and other languages who are very well known in India, like Camus, Sartre and Kafka, Michaelan, Gogol, whose works are translated to English, and through English they make their way to other languages. If these works can reach Kannada, then works in Kannada too need to be made available in these languages. Taking Kannada works to the world is one of the concepts with which the series in Indian Literature Translation series was started, and it is very important for us to take this forward. We already have had many translation works, but as part of the series, this is a first work. In the next 3 months, we are coming up with 4 more such translational works. On 30th of this month, we are having the release of a second translation book, that is Defiance, which is authored by Nam Moghsale and translated to English by Sri Pejataya. And shortly we are having another translation work in which we are translating Raja Radhika Raman Sinha's short stories in Hindi. It is translated to Boston-based to English by Boston-based Mahendra Srivastava. And we are also having the works on Saraswati by Rajwade, written by Vaidehi ma'am, being translated to English by Deepa Ganesh. So like this, we are coming up with
whole set of translation series, and in the coming future, MUP looks forward to starting more such series. Now we have our children's series, and shortly we'll be having local art series coming up with MUP publications. Today with us for the release of this book, we have a professor of English who has worked with tribals for 20 long years, and as a part of his research and extensive interaction has brought out his work on denotified languages. He worked very closely with late writer and activist Mahashweta Devi. He is an unusual scholar whose scholarship is never dissociated with activism. Dr. G.N. Devi, we are delighted to have you with us, sir. We welcome you. Ms. Arundhati Nag, a name synonymous with Rangashankara, one of country's foremost theatre spaces. With a career spanning 40 years, she has also made a name for herself in theatre and with her unusual roles in Hindi cinema. We are delighted to have you with us today, ma'am. We welcome you. I extend a heartfelt warm welcome to Shri K.V. Akshara, who heads Ninasam at Hegodo, a renowned playwright, director, and, as I said before, a very wonderful well-wisher for MUP. I welcome you, sir. I extend a warm welcome to Shri Jayant Kodkani. He is the senior editor with Times of India, and it's been amazing and wonderful pleasure to having worked with you, sir, over this book. I welcome you. Without further ado, I invite Dr. Nita Inamdar to join our dignitaries on stage to release the book. I request Deepa Ganesh also to join on stage. I now invite Professor G.N. Devi to speak a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the language culture that I come, there is an unwritten convention, that is Marathi language. The unwritten convention is, you invite a fellow for releasing a book if you do not want that fellow to speak at all. And another eminent scholar or somebody related to the field to speak at length about the book. So honestly, I was not prepared to speak. Since the request has come, I do not want to be impolite or look arrogant and hold back. So please, with apologies, I speak. First, I want to thank Deepa Ganesh for asking me to come for yesterday's lecture on the inaugural lecture in the series of lectures to come, to remember Professor U.R. Ananthamurthy. That is a great honor to me. And to be present at the release of this remarkable work by K.V. Akshara. And I am deeply beholden to Deepa. It's not because of the coincidence of name that my name is also Ganesh Devi and Deepa Ganeshan is, but I had heard very wonderful recommendations and views and comments by many friends I known about her work, and it's a great pleasure for me to be able to come to Suchitra Film and Culture Academy. So thank you for getting me here. I have known Akshara for a very long time, and in fact, just as he may not remember how long that time has been, I do not remember how long. It seems we've known each other forever. Apart from the coincidence of his having gone to a university where I also studied for a while in the United Kingdom. I went to Heggodu the first time when his father, Subanna, was there. And I went back with great admiration. And at that time, in my heart, I was asking myself if after Subanna, this work would be taken forward at all. And then I went to Heggodu on 3 occasions to see how the Heggodu Haven, the Shantiniketan of the new Shantiniketan of India, is functioning. I came back with the greatest admiration in my heart and mind for Akshara's contribution. Not just as, it's not just directing plays, writing plays, holding those, culture weeks, running an institution, taking a cause and not giving it up in the face of any calamity, any adversity, requires a remarkable passion and commitment, such as the mythological character Bhagirath had. And indeed, his efforts have been Bhagirath-like efforts, that he's kept this Ganga of enriching sensibilities of people in this state and outside India alive, flowing, and getting enriched by the ear. He had arranged to send the translations of these 2 plays to me in manuscript form, in typescript form. And so I had an opportunity of reading the plays. I'm sure since these plays have been performed, there has been a good deal of discussion about them. And given the Heggodu culture, the Ninasam culture of discussing the plays, quite frankly, I have seen those discussions. Those discussions are discussions meant for unmasking people. And so unmasking discussions have taken place. Therefore, I don't have pretty much to add to those discussions. But here are a few things that I want to say. 1, that these plays are now available to the rest of the world outside Karnataka is a remarkable gift to the world of theatre and to the world of thinking and the arts. And I would like to thank the Manipal University Publication Division and their very energetic director, head of European knowledges, European studies, Dr. Inamdar, for making this possible in the material form, in the form of the books. But in this material form, the spirit put in is by the translator. When I was, Jayantaji, when I was going through the translations, a rather weird thought came to my mind. And actually, you have to forgive me for this. The thought was, when our future generations of children grow up, who now study only the English language in schools, they might almost think that Jayanta wrote the plays and Akshara translated them in Kannada, so identical. This Parakaya Pravesh and self-effacement, complete self-effacement, because poetry has its own style, a novelist has his own style, but the translator is prevented from having a style of his own or her own. A translator is sentenced, punished with a total self-effacement, absenting oneself, and then attempting a Parakaya Pravesh. And the way Jayantaji has brought this to life in English is absolutely fascinating and first rate. I shall not at all be surprised if this next year's Sahitya Akademi Award for translation goes to this translation. If it does not, then there is something wrong with the Sahitya Akademi, not with the translation. That is. I mean, if it does not, then that's even a greater compliment to my mind, having written a Sahitya Akademi Award myself. Akshara sensibility is a rare sensibility. Is enriched by commingling of many streams. As he himself says, from Kalidasa and Bhasa and Shudraka to Shakespeare and so on, Ibsen and Brecht, of course. We heard some of those songs also. But I was reminded of some not so well-known names lurking somewhere in the background. I mean, I imagined Akshara before he started penning down the plays, or actually, before he began the rehearsals, whichever was the first. And I felt maybe there is a Maurice Maeterlinck somewhere. The Bluebird. There is A.E. George Russell, the Avatar. There is the Post Office of Rabindranath. There is in the background of the making of the plays, I see a lyricism of a very high kind. And those words which Hemingway used in another context, in the context of short story, came to my mind. Hemingway had said that short story has a lyric span but an epic tenor. These plays, which draw upon mythologies, folklore, many literary traditions, whether it is Eliot or Shakespeare, whether it is Kalidasa or Bhasa, are frontally facing the realities of the day. And in that sense, say an Ibsen's play where the hero is pining for saving the hot water springs and is actually shown as the enemy of the people by those who are in power. A play of that kind would be comparable to Swayamvara and the Sahyadri Kanda. Now the word Kanda is from the Ramayana. Mahabharata has Parvas, the Ramayana has Kandas. In our time, the word has acquired a different meaning. We now use it for what happened after Godhra, so we call it Gujarat Kand or Godhra Kand. Or Harshad Mehta Kand, the meanings have changed. The change of the meaning, the change in the web of meanings that surrounds the being of human today is reflected in both these plays very ably. So these plays do not stay at one level. They have many sources and many levels to tackle. There is a lot of pain that comes through in Swayamvara, for instance. I will not talk about FDI and globalization, the plays, but there is a half-finished story there, and I'm going to finish what I have to say with those words. The half-finished story is always half-finished in the play, and that is about a Swayamvar. And Gauri, whose Swayamvara is to be arranged, is asked to look at the princes coming from Anga, Vanga, all the kingdoms. And when she looks at them, she shouts both in outrage and agony and refuses to accept any of those. But the ring which is to be used if a Swayamvara is to be concluded falls, and a completely native young fellow picks it up and brings it. This unfinished story has remained unfinished in our culture and history also in many ways. This reminded me of the ring of Shakuntala, which had fallen in the stream.